Hey, what's up, everybody? Hopefully, your weekend was awesome. Had some fun, won some money playing DFS, whatever it was. Hope it kicked some serious tail. It is Monday, the 24th of February. We got ourselves a fairly nice size NBA slate for tonight. We're going to run through a couple of plays that we're looking at early in the morning for updated information. Like every single day, write up will be out at normal time. We'll have our members only videos. We'll talk some overlay today. And I think that we're going to have some time and we're going to do a mock fantasy baseball draft, just kind of year long stuff, just to kind of get into it and just kind of do like a first thoughts video. So stay tuned for that later today.
I love that. I remember I close my eyes and think back to when we did it last year, talking about Anthony Rendon. Definitely excited to be back with you today after a boring weekend, but excited to hop back in today.
Nice, guys. So there is still a lot of money to be won over on overlay, guys. The $22 progressive jackpot contest has got the jackpot up to basically $12,000 now. That is huge. They are running all sorts of specials over here to continue to drive traffic, but also put some money in your pocket. Twice this weekend, I won a $5 bonus without doing anything special. So without getting into the top 10% to get 9 times my buy-in, I was still able to double my profit on the $2.50 entry contest. They got the $500 bonus available to people if they go 0 and 12, which is kind of interesting. And there's a slump buster challenge. Play the same contest 20 times. Doesn't need to be 20 days in a row. Refund all your money if you don't win once. There's so many ways that Overlay wants to put money in your pocket. Why don't you sign up today and help them give you some money?
I'm not positive of this, but I'm pretty sure the jackpot might be over 12 grand today, and they just haven't updated it yet. So either way, it's right around there.
I think you're right, and I wasn't going to say it, but I'm glad you did because I'm pretty sure that is the same thing here. It's actually Monday, not Saturday, so please ignore that. Happy Monday, y'all. 5-pack deal today. We're going to continue with the annual sale that we ran the other day. Same thing, guys. A full calendar year, baseball, basketball, football, will be $150. If you purchase it through the website, you'll get your reimbursement within the day. This will cover all three sports, all the write-ups, a full calendar year. So basically from today to 365 days from now for $150, get all three sports, all seasons, all the year long.
Let's get it.
All right, so let's talk about some of the plays at board today. We got a couple of big men to talk about after this first guy, and there's a lot of big men to take a look today. I had a little harder time picking out guards, but I want to go back to a guy that you mentioned the other day that I'm a big fan of today, which is Mike Conley of the Utah Jazz taking on the Phoenix Suns tonight. So off of his price tag, he's gone for 6X or better in 5 straight games, which is just phenomenal. You're going to have a lot of trouble to find anybody else in the NBA who has 6X or better in 5 straight games. So he's playing well. And a point that we brought up the other day when you wanted to mention him and he had a solid game was this guy's good at basketball. This is not a fluke. This is not some nobody coming out of nowhere to have a couple of hot games. This is a very good NBA player, finally finding his groove with his new team. The Suns may not be the kill spot that they have been the last couple of seasons, but it's still an above average matchup basically across the board. Conley has played 30 plus minutes in 5 straight games where he's dressed. And really, if you think about the Utah Jazz, they're a good basketball team, but if they want to play with the Lakers and maybe even Nuggets of the Western Conference, they need Mike Conley to be this dude. They need him and Donovan Mitchell to be this amazing 1-2 combo with Jordan Clarkson coming in off the bench. So I think they continue to push his progression with this team.
I like it a lot too, man. He just looks rock solid here. Really nice filler cog piece at 5,300. Price is still really affordable. Like you mentioned, it's not the crush spot amongst crush spots. It's not Washington here, but it's still a damn fine spot. I do like Conley again quite a bit here. I didn't really want to bring him up again because I brought him up last time, so I'm more than happy you did. He just works. Any format, any type of roster construction, he's a solid play here.
If I told you somebody was going to 6X, you would roster him every single time, right? And this guy is 6X in 5 straight games, and he's a good basketball player. And to reiterate what you just reiterate, the Suns are not as good of a spot as they have been in the years past, but they're still a better than average spot. Just because they're not the top spot in basketball doesn't mean it's still not a good place to play.
Precisely.
All right, next up. So you wanted to talk about Joel Embiid today. And I'll start with the only negative thing that I can bring up about Joel Embiid today. He's only center eligible. That's like my only detriment with him.
Yeah, that is the only detriment. But for me, the first guy I'm looking at on this slate, the first guy I'm plugging in, I don't know how you don't play Embiid here. After another embarrassing loss on the road last time out in Milwaukee, I had a really good lineup that had 340 DK points with Embiid and Giannis. Absolutely killed me that those guys lost their run in the second half. Well, Giannis was pretty good before that, but was disappointed that Embiid lost his run. Love him in a bounce back spot here. So Insert big man, insert NBA player against Atlanta here. So it's Embiid against Atlanta. We already like that. Now you factor in no Ben Simmons, no Tobias Harris. I mean, their second and third options are now out in a game that Philly, I don't know if they roll, but they should be able to score at will here. This is a put your foot down type of game for Embiid. I think he walks into 55 plus here. And if this game stays close, his upside is about as high as you'll ever see it.
No Simmons, no Tobias Harris, as you said. I expect him to. I don't think Philly blows out here. This is a new team with a lot of pieces, and I expect this to be actually a relatively competitive game. You got Embiid at home, where Philly has played better all year. I'm going to bring up another center after this. And again, my only knock on Embiid today is center positions are typically at a premium on DK. But the more I think about it, the more I look at him as a priority within this model. So there's other big money guys I like a little bit, but he's right up there as one of the top overall plays of the day. I have to assume he gets plenty of love right here. Philly really needs to get things together. And I'll cut on some slack for Saturday's blowout loss to my Bucks because, Simmons was part of the game plan. He went down early, but this is a game that they have to play hard and expect Embiid to eat.
Exactly. We see it very eye to eye.
All right. So Gorgie Jang of the Memphis Grizzlies is another center that I want to talk about. Triple J, Jaren Jackson Jr. is going to be out for a little while now. He's going to be splitting the big man minutes with J-Val and Clark. And the thing about Jonas is I'm a fan. You're a little bit of a fan. He's just not a guy that's ever going to walk in there and play like 35-plus minutes consistently. So expect the big man minutes to be split between these guys. I think maybe you could see Zhang playing some power forward, and I really wish he was power forward eligible today. But we've also noticed this when his fill-in time for Minnesota, like he's not an all-star by any stretch of the imagination, but he's a very good point-per-minute DFS player. The path to least resistance against the Clippers is always going to be big men. Not saying that they're weak against big men, but they're especially strong against guards and wings. I think Zhang is game script proof because I think he plays if the game's competitive. And if the game's a blowout, I think he sees even farther run. Again, bad part, he's only center eligible. If he was a power forward eligible, he would be much easier to roster today. But there is a utility spot for a reason.
Yeah, I was definitely looking at him also. The big detriment here is that he's only center eligible because there's another center we'll get into on members only. That's the flat minimum at 3K. That's also wildly in play here. So, yeah, I mean, there's more than that also because there always is. As you talked about when we just brought up Embiid, the center position is often, it seems always, very coveted. No different tonight. I love Embiid a lot, but you're right, man. You can only roster two of these guys, and there's a lot to like about a 3,400 Jang here.
So I'm really excited to get on the members only and talk through the center position with you because it is something that you're going to have to put some real premium thought process into today because, again, you mentioned there's a couple other guys that are in play today, but I struggle not to play the two guys we've mentioned, but this means I'm missing out on somebody I also really, really want to roster. So it's tough. You're going to have to make some decisions. I want Embiid on my team too, but some of these cheaper guys today have like legitimate ability to, 8, 9, and 10X today, which is scary not to roster them. So it's a difficult spot to navigate today.
Exactly. And kind of piggybacking right into the next player, I was wanting to bring up someone else, but that someone else was also only center eligible. So wanted to find a pivot that was power forward eligible because as much as we like 3, 4, 5 centers, you can only roster 2.
So hold on, just before we get into this, just because we haven't brought up his name yet, Marvin Williams of the Milwaukee Bucks is who we're talking about right now, for those of you just listening. Go ahead.
Yeah, we're talking about Marvin Williams here. First off, we love picking up Washington. You saw it yesterday with the Bulls. Bunch of guys walked into value there. With no no Brook Lopez tonight, I expect the minutes to be split between Marvin Williams, Ilyasova, Robin Lopez, who is the elephant in the room center we keep talking about, but he's only center eligible. At 3,100, I expect Williams to get a decent run here. I don't care how this game plays out. If it's competitive, I expect him to see backup center, backup forward minutes, and to see around 15 to 20 minutes. If it's not competitive, which it's Milwaukee versus Washington, could easily be a blowout, I expect him to see a bunch of that blowout run. At 3,100, he's far from a lock here. I just think he has GPP upside at this price, depending on how this game plays out. What do you think?
Well, I'm going to elaborate on this one longer. And I will say that I definitely prefer Marvin Williams within the GPP mold today because if he plays 8 minutes at the end of the day, yeah, I'm not flabbergasted by that. You can go small against Washington.
No doubt about that. That's why he is really cheap, but like you just said, if he played under 10 minutes tonight, neither of us would be surprised. Go ahead.
Now, other things to like about him that I'm not sure everybody's going to prepare and look at is the Bucks play again tomorrow. And don't be surprised if they limit Giannis to 22, 23 minutes today because they play again tomorrow. I forget who they're matched up against and why.
At Toronto.
That's a much bigger game. Much bigger game. So I think Marvin Williams, I kid you not, I would not be surprised to see him play 20 to 25 minutes today, knowing that they probably keep Giannis down. And Washington's not good. They played yesterday, so they're a bit tired as well. Like, if Milwaukee steps up and rolls early, like, Giannis may not touch the court in the fourth quarter. They're going to limit his minutes no matter what because tomorrow is a much, much bigger game. And if you have no Brook Lopez and then you also have potentially Giannis maybe playing less minutes than usual, there's a lot of big man minutes to go around here. They have not been playing Ersan big minutes, and this is where you and I differ about Marvin Williams. I think I respect him a little bit more than you do. I think he could be part of Milwaukee's rotation come playoff time. Not a major part, but 15 minutes a game. I think it would behoove them to really get him acclimated and ready to play with this team. So I'm not surprised at all if he plays bigger minutes than normal. It's still risky, though.
It's definitely risky. I don't disagree with your point that he seems to maybe be playing his way into a smaller role with this team. I mean, they signed him for a reason, and to that point, you're not just going to sign a guy like this and just like not play him any minutes at all. So maybe we don't exactly agree on what his role will be, but you're right. He is going to have a little bit of a role, and the better he plays, the more that role will increase. As far as Washington goes, yeah, they're bad. And I think the best way to describe them right now, they just lost to Cleveland and Chicago. So they're bad.
Washington's record's better this year than you would think, but they're
Sure.
not a good basketball team, right? Like, they play decent enough offense that they win some games against bad teams, but they are a bad basketball team.
The bottom of the East is just really bad. So they've gotten some wins against those teams, but they're not significantly better than those other teams at the bottom of the East. The Bulls, the Cavs, they're right on that level.
Yeah, like, I think they have like 8 more wins than the Cavs, but I don't think of them as an 8-win better team, if that makes sense.
It does make sense. And yeah, to that point, they are better than the Cavs right now, but I don't think their roster is that much better.
No, they just happen to have the best player out of all these teams in Bradley Beal.
Exactly.
And again, Beal played a great game yesterday, but as well endurance or well in shape as that guy is, like, he's probably a step tired today as well. Milwaukee could run this team out of the gym in 10 minutes if they really put their foot down.
No doubt.
So, all right, guys, that's what we got for today. Looking forward to do members only. We'll pivot over to that real quickly right here. If you want it, guys, go sign up for an annual or a monthly membership. We'd love to have you join the team. Baseball is coming soon. So we'll be doing a fantasy baseball draft online today and just kind of go through a mock draft and talk about that with you guys. Have a good Monday.
Let's get it, guys. Thank you.